I want to talk about the 2024 presidential election.
Okay. Personally, I'm also planning on not playing a significant role in the election. I've done some stuff personally in the past. I'm not planning on doing that this time. And that includes, not endorsing either of the candidates.
In fact, we made this decision. It was the right decision. I'm proud of the decision we made. And it was far from cowardly because we knew there would be blowback and we did the right thing anyway.
Which sounds good unless you're more worried about the blowback that you might get if you endorse the wrong person and Trump decides to shut down the Washington Post or something. So anyway, there's a little bit of gamesmanship in that. But what you saw was them talking, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, about the fact that they weren't going to be doing endorsements despite some of their past political activity. And they were really hands-off and all that. And we had a lot prepared for this. We're gonna have to skim through it a little bit. But what you do need to know is that now that the election is done and Trump has won, their neutrality that was so brave before, that's way gone. They're unloading money onto Donald Trump for his inauguration. Zuckerberg with $1 million, money from Bezos. Amazon is personally investing the $1 million. They're gonna be streaming the inauguration, which you could have a debate about that as like a public service or something, but all of these billionaires are lining up to kiss the ring, and more than that, to buy a bunch of rings for Donald Trump. And I'm very worried about that. I understand the fear they must all have about Donald Trump's retaliation against their companies. He's a vindictive, quasi-strongman who wants to be an authoritarian leader. He might well try to shut down the Washington Post or Facebook or break them up or whatever. But regardless, they are very much lining up. And whatever checks they might have provided on their platforms or in their newspapers against Donald Trump before, I don't see any reason to believe that that's gonna continue into the future.
Has anyone ever gone to Mar-a-Lago and not kissed his ass? Like, why can't they just go there and have a normal conversation? No, can't do it. So I certainly think it's possible, but no one's done it yet. So are Zuckerberg and Bezos concerned about their business interests? Of course. Come on. And the Washington Post is nothing. It's a microscopic part of Bezos's business empire. So he doesn't really even care about the Washington Post. He just doesn't want the Washington Post. I mean, I don't mean that to read his mind and say he doesn't care about the paper at all. I mean, in the context of his business interests, it's a tiny thing. He cares a lot more about Amazon. And Trump had threatened Amazon last time he was in office because of what the Washington Post was writing. Now, look, these guys are purely businessmen, right? Like, so for example, I care about ideology, right? Do they care about ideology? Maybe a little bit, maybe around the edges, or maybe they used to, but then they got scared, right? So at this point, if they just went and talked to him, no problem, okay? You go talk to him and then you offer him $1 million, okay, you're trying to appease him and you're trying to buy favor. But I get it, like they've got billions and billions of dollars on the line, and Trump is a guy who's not going to follow normal rules. So if all you cared about was your business and all you cared about was money, those guys, anybody would tell them, yeah, go kiss his ass, make sure that your company's not in danger. And that's not a good place for America to be.
Anybody that's in their business and their money and are billionaires, they know that the game is played by throwing your money around. You think they're gonna go and talk to Donald Trump and not mention money? That's all that's what all these guys are about. So going that, by the way, they say it openly and out loud at the stock exchange. I think in the interview there when Trump was there ringing the bell, he said, yo, any corporations or people come here and give me $1 billion, you're gonna have priority over your interest in passing permits and getting whatever the hell you want. This isn't hidden. None of this is being said behind closed doors in dark, smoky rooms. So if you're gonna go to Mar-a-Lago and try and get some kind of courage, some kind of favor, or just speak with him, it's one of those things where like you walk in and he's gonna have his hand out. Like you think that they're not, this isn't the whole thing. That's the reasons why they throw on their money so much. Their control over our politicians. That's why there's Supreme Court rulings that allow them to do it. This is all right in front of our faces. If you come in with no money, they'd be like, what the hell are you doing here? What's the matter with you? Aren't you a billionaire? So yeah, I do think it's less about the Washington Post as well too, though. So it's all about Amazon, whatever kinds of influence or innovations or changes they want to do that maybe are going to run into some kind of government oversight or regulation, all that stuff, they have to be in the front line of it. They're watching Elon Musk literally buy this now incoming president-elect. They're like, I mean, I didn't do that, but I mean, I can be second best and still get plenty of favor my way just from giving this guy money and then acting like, or whatever degree that they are, kiss his ass. Do you think they have any kind of actual politics? If there was a Democrat that's acting just like Donald Trump, he has a D behind his name and everything is flipped and everybody that's following him are these folks who think that MAGA is this utopia, a type of dream world, then they don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. Do you have power? And can I buy you and then shape the way that you go about running this country? All they care about.
Yeah. I'm going to agree 1,000,000,000% with JR. Really great points. The minute you said Elon Musk, I was like, oh yeah, why didn't I think? Of course, because they're looking at two examples. Number one, Bezos is theoretically the second richest man in the world, and Elon is the first. I don't really believe it. I think Bezos is richer, but anyway, that's irrelevant. He looks at Musk, who he's got to view as a competitor, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God, Musk just bought the government. I didn't know it was that easy. And he bought it for, he seems to have given around $250 million to Trump's campaigns. And Bezos has got to be thinking, why didn't I do that? $250 million is nothing. And Amazon could have, you know what? We could have had a government efficiency department called something with an A, M-A-Z-O-N, called Amazon. But there's a second guy, as soon as you said that, Jay, I was like, they must also be thinking about Jeff Yazd. Remember Trump, when he was in office the first time, said he was going to shut down TikTok. He even took some steps to shut it down. And in this campaign, Jeff Yazd, I think, gave him $1.5 million. I don't know if he put in more later, but a significant amount. And Trump came out and said, Jeff Yazd gave me a strong endorsement. Now I like TikTok and we're going to keep TikTok, okay? So he's so transactional. He's so obviously openly corrupt that's why Bezos and Zuckerberg are like, what are we doing? Of course we should at a minimum appease him. And maybe if we like it, maybe we just buy him and then have him support these things. And you know, if there's any utility, and people can debate this about me going on right-wing shows, when I mention this stuff to them, so sometimes I'll mention something and they'll go, no. Like, I'm like, why would you arrest Dr. Fauci? They're like, no, we gotta arrest Dr. Fauci. I'm like, oh boy, Dr. Fauci's in trouble, right? So, but on this one, when I mentioned the donors and Jeff Yazd and the TikTok thing, they're like, a lot of uncomfortable. Well, yeah, that's kind of true, right? So everybody knows Trump can be bought. So that's what's happening right now. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.